everybody, how you doing today? Gonna be changing a starter in a 2012 F550 with a 6.7 liter. I got some grinding problems, so every so often it grinds, and so I figured I'd change the starter out because it seems like the logical thing. Yeah, so here we go. So got these little screws here. We're gonna take the fender liner out, so we can access it. It's gonna be right back there. So basically in this back corner here. Let me get you the size of them little guys because they are tiny. So right here you're gonna have an 8mm, and I believe this is an 8mm as well. You got a clip up there, so you can see, just like a push pin clip. And then these little guys all around the fender well or edge are 5.5, so you're gonna need some tiny ones for that. So you're gonna want to disconnect your negative terminals so you don't get any arcing once you take the wire off the starter. This one's kind of stiff, so I just put a wooden block between it. Came over here and took this one off as well. I just kind of bungee corded it up, hold it away, so I don't get any accidental contact. And yeah, so we're gonna pull this liner out and go from there. Alright, so I'll pull these two 8mm out first. Take this row around out. I went around them with a ratchet first to make sure they were loose and they weren't going to snap. The battery terminals were 8mm to loosen the clamp. Great. One casualty. Alright, I think I'm just going to pull this back because there's two more along the bottom. Unless they come loose. one. How they come loose. Yes, there's two more up under here. Let's see. This comes out. Salty. I'm trying to push it off the edge so I can pull it out. There's a couple, there's another push pin over here where the AC line was on, and there was that one there. And there was another one up here. I'll show you with this front plastic trim. Kind of holds it in there with a push pin, and then it wraps around to the front of the bump, to the front of inside here. I think it's inside this fender here. So you can't just pull that out. So that's why I unhooked the push pin here. Right. So, like I say, right there was that clip where the push pin went through, and then right here were the two bolts up underneath that held the bottom of that liner up. So here's one of the push pins there, and then the other one here on the AC line. And that was most of the clips to get it out. So your starter's going to be in here, right there. So we have to wiggle it out of there. Alright, so I'm just going to pull the wheel off so I get a little extra room in there. Lug nuts are 21 millimeter. Space to get in there now. So should help a little bit. Alright, so we're going to disconnect the battery cables, or the battery cable, to the starter. This is a was it? It's a 15 millimeter for this top nut. I think it's a 15. Yeah, 15 seems all right. That off. Good. You don't necessarily have to try to ground out the cable. I was just doing that to see if, well, I was just making sure. I didn't want a surprise. So we're gonna take this start terminal wire off. That's what sends the signal to the starter to crank. That is a 10 millimeter. Yeah, you don't have to try to ground out that style wire. If you don't disconnect your batteries, don't do that. It will arc. But I was pretty sure nothing was going to happen. I just didn't want any surprises if it did. At least this way I could pull it off real quick if somehow one of those terminals up there made contact with the starter, or not with the starter, but if one of those terminals made contact with the battery again, I'd be able to pull it off as opposed to letting it stick somewhere where I don't know where it is and it just starts heating up and catches fire. So we're going to take the 3 bolts out of the starter. There's one here, there's one down here, and then there's one that comes through the transmission into the bottom of the starter. So there's 3 of them. I know these 2 top ones are 13 millimeter. I haven't seen what the bottom one was. I assume it's 13 millimeter also. So you'll have to get creative with whatever your tools are to get on these. Make sure I'm in the right direction. So that's what I'm using. What is that, like a 3-inch extension with a short socket. So, kind of use one of these universal joint sockets and just something to get on there and spin it a little bit easy and try to get my fingers on it. And you saw what I did. Oh, actually you probably didn't see what I did. Alright, so we gotta get this one off next. Ammo. I changed my gloves. I like the other gloves better because you can slip them on and off pretty quick. So if I need clean hands, I just pull a glove off. So I like them better for that, but in this tight quarters here, you don't have the dexterity of them, and they get kind of hooked on things, and sometimes you gotta make do with what you got. Oh, did I move your view? Probably, yeah, so there's that bolt.
Okay, thank you.
And I sat here wrestling around this. We'll take this plug off. I don't know if I can. No, I think I gotta take it off. So it's just got little clips that you gotta get around and get under them, and then kind of pull that ring back. If I'm not getting you a good view, I apologize. It's about an 8-inch hole here. We can't all be here at the same time. Alright, so I got these two out. I got the one underneath to get now. Alright. So here's your starter. And here's your lower bolt right there. See it? So that looks like it's 13mm also. We'll pull that out, and then we'll try to get the starter out. I think it's got to come out through that hole I was working through. I mean, it might slip down in here. I don't know. So I think I'm gonna try to take it out that hole we were working through, 'cause it seems like the best bet. But I'm gonna take that bolt out next. All right, so I'm gonna try to get this out of here. Total pain in the butt. gonna be one of those awesome scenarios like, oh, you got 1 in a million trucks that the bolt went in backwards on a certain thing, and this is never gonna come up. Let's see, maybe I can kinda. It's like right there. Okay. So it's almost out. I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to go, but I just needed to do something. There we go. All right, so that worked. Basically stuffed it behind the mount, between the engine and the mount, and then pulled that forward. So that worked. Well, I do see where there's been some grinding. Hopefully we don't have any other damage, but I don't know if you can see, but there's some issues with the tips of some of them teeth. So right there, 2 teeth that don't look too great. Well, there's the ring gear or flex plate. This goes. Maybe I can push it back in the same hole I got it out of. And if I can't, maybe I can get it jammed in there nice and good. Oh ho! That went in pretty easy. Hey. Yep. Yeah, I'm just gonna bolt in this and then I'll come look at that. So, if anyone's watching this video, I'm sure maybe sometime in the future you'll see replacing a ring gear. Because it's got some damage. So, if you're getting repeated grinding off your starter, I want to get it checked pretty quickly, because you might wind up having to change out your ring gear. Doesn't look like it's going to be a super difficult job. I mean, there's a lot of room around the transmission. There's a cross member with, I think, 4 bolts in it to drop the cross member. So you're really looking at drive shafts, transmission cooler line, shift linkage, cable. I think I had to disconnect the little push pin connector that's on that holds the fuel lines to a bracket on the transmission. And the other thing that sort of concerns me is going to be like this downpipe right here. That and having to turn the engine over to get the bolts out of the flex plate. But it might not be that bad of a job. You got a lift here, so it's not horrible. It's just time consuming. It's not something I'm going to look forward to, but it is what it is. Seems this little 1/4 inch, 13 millimeter on a 1/4 inch drive here works pretty well. Well, I don't know why Ford's got these tiny little bolts. They're like 1/4 inch bolts holding the starter on. It's kind of ridiculous. Especially this one down here. Like, they're like tapers in the center. Can't believe that. I'd stick if that one broke. It's like it's threaded into the starter. So if it broke, it's like, how would you? I mean, I don't know. It'd be a pain. Alright, so I got the bottom bolt in, got these 2 bolts in, torque them down or whatever you're comfortable with or to specification. I don't have a torque spec for you. They're very small bolts, so I wouldn't imagine it would be too much. Last thing you want to do is snap the bolts off. That's different. There it goes. So I believe the paperwork that came with the starter suggested to, or said to, only torque the nut to 8 foot-pounds. Any more could crush the plastic and would void your warranty. So, something to keep in mind. That's probably 8, right? Yeah, it's about that. Plug this guy back in. Clicky clicky. Is that? That's in. The wires are on. That's in. So I believe that's that. Well, I just wanted to give it a test to see if we're gonna have any issues with that starter. So start it right up. Even with it located on that damaged part of the ring gear, it still worked. So it's kind of what I was hoping was gonna happen. I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, but this is the tip of the starter gear. So you see we got 1, 2, 3. This one's, that one might be all right. Maybe it looks like it's a little bit damaged compared to the rest. Maybe a little worn down, possibly. I'm not exactly sure. That one might not be part of the equation, but this one and this one obviously are damaged. So I'm wondering if the starter got damaged first, and then it started chewing into the ring gear, or if the ring gear started wearing. I'm not exactly sure what transpired to cause our problem, but my hope was that by putting the new starter in, that it wouldn't have the damage the old starter would have, and that it would engage into the ring gear and we can keep trucking, because while I can change it, I'd prefer not to if I didn't have to. So we'll see how this goes for a while, and we might, if we don't have any issues with it, we'll just keep going with it as it is. And if we develop the same grinding problem, then we'll have to change out that ring gear. So yeah. Go ahead and put our wheel liner back in. Get you straight there. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and put our wheel liner back in. First, be sure to take the flashlight back out. So here's one of the push tabs. There's another one. So when you put it on there, you gotta kind of shove them back in. So that push pin up here looks like it's going to be problematic. Alright. Crap. There's this little plastic thing that goes on the starter. Clips on over the terminals. Down. Screw back in. Here's that push pin that was in front. It kind of like sandwiches this piece here with the liner, and then it goes into the area behind it. your 5.5. Back the way they were. None of the same bolts, but this one holds the weight up. When this one came off, it came out of the washer and it kind of marred the threads a little bit, so I'd rather have the one that's holding the weight with the good threads. These two that go up under here. Oop, stuff's falling. I don't know why they don't use reasonable sized screws. I mean, 5.5 millimeter screw head. Screw head? Yeah, that's screws. They're not really bolts. Unless they're really coarse bolts. Kind of a ridiculous size. That's that, right? Yeah. You got no extra pieces. Oh, this one's dead. I'll have to charge that. We'll put your lug nuts back on. I'll torque them down, and then should be good for a while. Now this video started off as just a starter replacement. Kind of became something different for me in the end there, but well, I guess it could still be a starter replacement video for you. It has altered my life and it shall never be the same. Okay, if you have a F550 such as this, then the lug nut torque is 165 foot-pounds. If you do not have an F550 such as this, then I'm not exactly sure what your torque will be. So, I say, put your wheel back on, your start pattern, torque it down to what it's supposed to be, drive it for a little bit, and retorque it again. So, make sure it doesn't loosen up on you. So, if you made it all the way to the end here, I thank you for watching. If it helps you, great. If not, let me know what I did wrong. I appreciate everybody who subscribed. I have quite a few more subscribers lately, and I'd like to tell you, if you watch this video, that I appreciate you subscribing, and I hope that you can get something out of my videos. They do take a little while to make, but as long as I can help somebody, it's all worth it. So, I thank you for watching, and have a nice day.